Okay, hello and welcome. We've got another session of the DAX today, kicking off in 12 minutes time. Apex, not running a challenge at the moment, so just doing the analysis today. Just going to get rid of... Just bear with me one moment. So we've got the levels here. We've got the yearly breakout long just below, down below this previous day's close. We've got the pivot, so yearly level here, followed by S1 and previous day's low, or last week's low. So what I'm hoping for, what I'm expecting is probably the market will come down, tap this close gap. That's target number one. On the flip side, though, we may actually head up towards this structure up top, in which case I'd be looking to potentially short from there. Given that the DAX is a long bias market, I'll be looking for buy opportunities, but it's quite hard to buy just from this position. We may come up all the way here. It is a possibility, but if we can pull back down towards this close gap, we may not fill it, potentially start looking for buying opportunities there. What to look out for, though, is we actually had a really massive sell-off last week, it looks like. Just bear with me one sec. Massive drop the day before that, so kind of just sold all the way through literally everything. So even the S3 got taken out, no reaction off pretty much any key level. So basically on the Thursday last week, the market really disrespected the whole situation. Just fell away. So, and you get days like that. So obviously you can have a long bias, but at the same time, sometimes the market will fall. And what happens is the DAX falls really quickly, but then it grinds up slowly. And it goes up more than it goes down, but it's just these swift exits that make it tricky to trade. So on Friday, we kind of reacted. So let's see how many points we got. Drawdown, if we bought off that yearly level, it was about 70 points, close to 80 points. So still took a bit of heat, but that's a yearly level, and we we rejected off that quite nicely for like 400 points. So if you bought off that level, let's say you had a 100-point stop and you went for 400 points, like 1 to 4 risk reward, that's amazing. So just noting that the yearly levels do react quite well. Just noting that for the future. So obviously next year we'll have a new set of yearly levels and see what reactions we can get. I have mentioned a few times, but just having a look. So off the previous year's low, I thought it was off the pivot. Let me zoom in. So excellent buying off the pivot there earlier in the year. But then the market came right down to the previous year's low. Yeah, it sort of went through it quite a bit, but this was the tariffs, I believe. Yeah, so Trump's tariffs, and basically the market pulled right away. Had an excellent rejection from there, though. Like, look at that. So from that low, had you have held out, maybe really tiny positions, and then up to current market price, that is 10,000 points. So 10,000 points times whatever your leverage and volume that you'd be using. If you are able to sustain that drawdown, this previous year's low on the yearly level was an excellent insight as to what those yearly levels can do. Obviously, there was a lot of uncertainty around that time with Trump and his changes, but obviously if you watch his his Twitter feed, you might get that insight a little bit quicker, and then combine that with the position of the market. It could be really good trading opportunity there, combining those two. So yeah, we've got the yearly breakout long there. We've rejected quite nicely off it. time and time again. We just did it on Friday. Hi Christopher, thanks for joining again. Great to see you back. So just pulling up the current charts. Let's see what we've got. We've got the monthly candle. So we've finally had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 months. I'm on the right chart. I'm on the US chart. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 months of basically no movement, but this is probably the biggest down month as far as open to close right now, but that could always change. So just be aware of that. We haven't really left this range for a long time, so we've got to, I guess, take that as a note that maybe today is an up day. We are on the lower end, whereas last week we were up top here. So basically the market's really restricting in this range. I guess giving opportunity for people that realise that to stay within that range. So on the monthly candle, we've just got that strange activity that, kind of points us to the direction that maybe unless we do break this range, then we're likely to probably stay within it or maybe head long. So just a note there. On the weekly, we are rejecting off that mid-band line. So potential upside there as well. On the daily as well, we've tapped that Bollinger Band low, coming back up on the Bollinger Band on the daily. So that's another positive. We could always come and retest it like we did back here 3 days in a row. Basically retested it 3 times and then had a really nice rally there. So that rally from band to high was about 700 points. So pretty decent. 4 hour. We did reject off the 4 hour lower last week as well. We've just got that previous day's close. So I think if we do have a bit of a pull away, so pull lower, and then potential buys from this kind of region here between the close and the pivot could be a really nice position to get long. So we've got 4 minutes or 3.5 minutes till the open. We're having a really strong hour. So let's hope we do pull back so that we can get into a good quality long, because we've got the monthly. We're a little bit lower than the average range for the last 6 months of open to close. Not high to low, obviously. And then we've got the weekly, kind of rejecting off this mid-band line. So it's important to just note these things, build a bias and build a direction. The DAX already has a long bias regardless. And on the 30-minute, hopefully this does turn around. So on the futures over here, we can see that the market is pulling back. It's likely that we'll sell off a little bit at the open, I'm hoping. What could always happen though is there's a lot of market orders coming in at the open. It floods the market and pushes it up and ignores this close gap. So we've just got to watch out for that as well. On the 15-minute, we're outside the upper band, so that indicates that we could be in for a bit of a pullback, fill this gap, and then potentially move long. And then on the 5-minute, so it does look like this candle is turning around. Now let's have a look. I'll just quickly check out the daily candle. We've got a couple of minutes. I just want to show you the yearly levels that we're working with. We're actually a fair distance from the yearly R2. But look at that, from the pivot, I'll just get a rough reading. 200 points off that yearly pivot. This was the tariffs. And to sort of the average highs, we've hit it 1, 2, 3, 4 times thereabouts. It's nearly 6,000 points, so 5,500 points you could have easily taken out at multiple times throughout the year. So 5,000 points on the DAX, that's huge. So watching these yearly levels is really important, especially when we get a super volatile period. Even if you kind of watch these levels, you get in and out, if it doesn't work out, you kind of really watch the daily levels tightly as well. That would have been a phenomenal long off that pivot. So we'll have another set of yearly levels coming up shortly. We've got 1 minute till open now, guys. Let me know your trades as well if you have a particular setup that you're looking to do. Just let me know in the chat. I'm probably long today. However, I do want to pull back first before I get in. So, we've had some pretty decent sell-offs last week, and I do think that we're probably going to have quite a strong day today, but could always be wrong. Last week, perhaps Thursday, could have been the beginning of just selling off. So that can happen too. So we're open, pulling back. Now we've got to zoom in onto the order flow, see when this market's likely to turn back around and we can buy. So that could have been it. The 10 and the 6, it's already happened potentially. I'd love to see it pull back a little further though. But I'd say this is just about filled. So yeah, 3 points, that's basically filled. So yeah, could be a really good long opportunity from that point. Maybe for the rest of the day, but ideally we'll pull back a little further and come down to, say, the pivot or this structure that we've had so far in the pre-market, like this pricing here. Okay, we're coming back down. So we've got this structure, and then on the Friday, this pivot lines up with yesterday's or last week's, what level is that? Breakout short. So if we can pull back a little further, it would be ideal, but I don't know if we're actually going to come right down. Just zoom in a little bit. So we've just hit that midline on the 5 minute as well. 14 contracts there. Look, I'd be open to testing this for a buy and perhaps scaling in as it kind of pulls up. But you've always got to be ready for the market to do the opposite of what you're thinking. It's all part of it. So using that risk management, being ready to get out when the market tells you that it's not correct. But this looks like it is going to reject. We've got that mid-band line on the 5 minute. We've got the previous day's close. That is now filled. And we'll see if this can hold. This 16 and 15 and then 12, it kind of looks like it supports it. But it's a matter of the traders that are coming in after this time, will they also support it? So building the evidence in the direction of the trade. And it looks like it may hold here. Guys, in the comments as well, let me know what what type of account I should go for next. Should it be perhaps a 300k, a bit more money on the line, or should I stick to these smaller ones of 25k? Apex offers that massive amount of funding. If you get fully funded with 20 accounts, it just becomes massive. But at the same time, the rules are really tough. So I am in the process of searching for a prop firm that is perhaps more suitable for the DAX and the way that I trade. So I'm just in the works of figuring that out, which prop firm might actually be more viable to actually pass. The downside that I'm noticing is that Apex offers the most amount of funding in terms of the amount of accounts you can use. So excellent rejection off that close. See if we can continue higher. What I'll be looking for is potential rejections just above these highs though. So hopefully we can just push on through. But we do need to be aware that there is potential that will come up, maybe sort of up to this region where my mouse is, and then perhaps even pull back further, take all these weak hands out just below this price and continue higher. So you've just got to be ready for that kind of activity. If you're going to sit around and maybe watch the market, you might be able to sort of get back in later if you need to take the profits here, or if you're confident and you're okay with going back to break even, potentially this market will continue to rally. So there's I guess two options there for anybody that did take this long off the mid-line, off the close gap. You might be able to bring your stops to break even somewhat safely. There's a good chance it'll come back and get filled, because that was a nice push up at the open. So that's the kind of trading that I do like to see, and we haven't had that for a while. So we pulled back into the target, had a rejection off an indicator, saw the volume kind of support the concept, and then we were able to probably go long off that. Now that trade, we're looking at probably, let's say, even if you got in early, we're looking at probably around at least 25 points there. So that's pretty good trading without taking hardly any heat. It's not bad at all. Look, that was 10 points, probably even if you got in early, probably 10, 11 points. Now if we can break through, I'll just zoom in on the volume here, the order flow. It's still looking okay. There's no massive indication that we're turning around. It is a new candle, so often the market kind of fakes people out, comes back the other way, and then hopefully that's 10 buyers on the ask side. I'll just pull this volume over here as well, the order flow. So this is the mini DAX. Just have a look. So look, confident traders, they're probably sitting at break even and just waiting it out. Some traders have probably taken their profit and said, right, that's a pretty good move pretty quickly. Maybe look for a bigger move later in the day. And then I guess those people that don't have too much pressure, they're probably just going to let it ride. Maybe stops just to break even or just above, and then just let this run its course for the day or beyond. We'll see if it continues up. It's looking okay. We have had a few down days quite aggressively last week as well, meaning that the market probably wants to come and take out any short hands that aren't that strong before continuing lower. We're not having a massive sell-off just yet, so that indicates to me that we're probably not in a meltdown session. And if we break these highs from these candles here I'm talking about, I think we're probably going to continue upwards. But excellent trading there. If anybody did get long off the close and this midline here, I guess it's only 20 odd points, but a win's a win. And you've got quite a bit of buffer there if you did move your stops in. Very good chance that it will potentially come back down and take it out. But at the same time, there's a lot of upside there as well, potentially. So just have to wait and see. But as far as analysis for the day, I think that's me probably done here. The market pretty much has done what I thought it would. It would have been nice if we did get perhaps all the way down to the pivot and then rejected, but with that midline there, coupled with the volume kind of indicating that it's got some strength and support at that close gap, we filled it, and the market was able to reject off that close and fade the fill. And hopefully you guys did well out of it. I wish you all the best for the rest of your trading session, and jump in the Discord. So the link is in the chat there. If you do want to come and have a bit of a chat after the session, feel free to do so. I'll be in there sort of, if I see anything in the market, I'll jump in and say, oh, look, I'm looking at this level, probably either going to buy or sell, for example, and here's why. So I do sort of continue on the live session, but just not in video form. So if you do want to get involved, after this first initial session, you think there's an opportunity later, sometimes we'll be in the Discord when there's opportunities present. So feel free to jump in there. Remember to get your Apex or your FTMO challenges via the links there. And we'll see what the rest of this market has to offer. Hopefully we get a nice volatile move so that we can get another entry in later in the day. Thanks again for coming back, Christopher. Great to see you again, and all the best, traders. See you later.